What's holding you back as a man? Is it her? Is it your job? Or is it you? If you're tired of being the guy who settles for less, who watches life pass by while other men take what's theirs, then this is the moment to change. Right now, we're going to break down the 12 habits destroying your potential and show you exactly how to eliminate them. These aren't just tips. These are cold, hard truths designed to shake you awake. Men, let's get something straight. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care if you've been cheated on, if your boss hates you, or if the system feels stacked against you. Life doesn't owe you anything. But here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not even that woman you're trying so hard to impress. If you want to succeed in 2025, you're going to have to take control of your life like never before. In this video, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. We're going to have a raw, unapologetic conversation about the habits that are keeping you stuck. These 12 habits aren't just small inconveniences. They're the very chains holding you back from the life you want, the relationships you deserve, and the legacy you're capable of building. By the end of this video, you'll have a blueprint to break free. But first, I need you to make a commitment. If you're ready to watch this all the way through, comment, "I'll see this to the end." Why? Because this video can change your life, but only if you let it. Let's get started. Number 1. Stop complaining. Complaining is the language of losers. The world doesn't care about your problems, and neither should you. Complaining accomplishes one thing. It tells everyone around you that you're weak, incapable, and unwilling to solve your own issues. You think anyone respects that? Not your friends, not your co-workers, and certainly not your woman. Let's talk about relationships, because this is where most men fail spectacularly. You're sitting there whining that your girlfriend doesn't treat you like a king. Guess what? You're not acting like one. Women don't follow weak men, and complaining is the ultimate weakness. Instead of crying about how she's always on her phone or doesn't appreciate your efforts, ask yourself, are you giving her a reason to respect you? Are you leading with purpose and strength, or are you waiting for her to validate you? Here's an example. A guy complains that his girlfriend never supports his goals. He says, "She doesn't believe in me. She thinks I'm wasting my time." But let me ask you this. Have you actually put in the work to show her that your goals are worth believing in? Or are you just sitting on the couch telling her about your big plans while playing video games all day? Actions speak louder than words, and women respect results, not excuses. Stop talking about what you're going to do and start doing it. When you lead with action, her respect will follow. And if it doesn't, that's not your problem. You're not here to convince anyone of your worth. You're here to prove it to yourself. Complaining is also the root cause of failure in your career. You're whining about how your boss doesn't see your potential, how the company doesn't pay you enough, or how your co-workers are slacking off while you do all the work. Stop. Complaining about your job doesn't make you a leader, it makes you a liability. If you're not being appreciated where you are, you have two options. Either step up and prove your value so loudly that they can't ignore you, or walk away and find a place that does. But complaining? That's for people who've already given up. The next time you catch yourself complaining, whether it's about your relationship, your job, or your circumstances, stop mid-sentence and ask yourself one question: what am I going to do about it? Complaining without a solution is just noise. Turn your complaints into action, and you'll notice something incredible. The world starts to respect you. People start listening to you. And most importantly, you start respecting yourself. Complaining isn't just a habit. It's a mindset. It's the belief that the world owes you something, that you deserve more without putting in the work. Let me break it to you. Nobody owes you anything. Not your parents, not your friends, not society, and certainly not the woman in your life. Everything you want, you have to earn. Complaining is the enemy of action. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of inaction, making excuses for why you're not where you want to be. Let's apply this to your relationships. You're frustrated that she's distant, that she's not as affectionate as she used to be. Instead of complaining about it to her, or worse, to your friends, ask yourself what changed. When you first started dating, were you more confident, more ambitious? Were you the man she admired? Somewhere along the line, you stopped being that guy. You got comfortable, and now you're paying the price. Complaining won't fix it. Becoming the man she fell for will. And what about your social circle? Are you the guy who's always complaining to his friends about how tough life is? Let me tell you something. Your friends are tired of hearing it. Real men don't complain. They inspire. They uplift. They challenge each other to be better. If your group of friends is a circle of complainers, it's time to either change the conversation or change your friends. Surround yourself with men who push you to level up, not ones who join your pity party. Every time you feel the urge to complain, write down what you're about to say. Then write down one action you could take instead. If you're about to complain that you're out of shape, write down one thing you can do today to fix it. Whether it's hitting the gym, cutting out junk food, or simply taking a walk. Replace every complaint with an action and watch how quickly your life changes. Complaining is a choice. It's the easy way out. But if you're watching this video, you're not looking for easy, you're looking for results. So, make a commitment right now. No more complaining. Not to your friends, not to your partner, and not even to yourself. The next time you're tempted to complain, remember this. Every minute you spend whining is a minute you could have spent winning. Number 2. Quit the victim mentality. If complaining is the language of losers, then victimhood is their anthem. Playing the victim is the fastest way to lose respect, not just from others, but from yourself. When you see yourself as a victim, you give away your power. You're saying, I'm not in control of my life. Someone else is. Think about this. How many times have you blamed someone else for your problems? Your girlfriend left you because she's toxic. Your boss fired you because he's unfair. Your life isn't where you want it to be because the system is against you. Sound familiar? Here's the harsh truth. None of that matters. What matters is how you respond. Take relationships, for example. How many men sit around blaming their exes for everything that went wrong? She cheated on me. She didn't appreciate me. She was crazy. Maybe she was. But what does complaining about it do for you? Nothing. Instead of blaming her, look in the mirror. What signs did you ignore? What boundaries did you fail to set? What behaviors did you tolerate? The victim mentality blinds you to your own role in the situation, which means you'll keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Here's an actionable exercise. Write down one relationship that failed and list 3 ways you contributed to its downfall. Be brutally honest. Maybe you were too passive. Maybe you ignored red flags. Maybe you stayed in it too long out of fear of being alone. Whatever it is, own it. Because the moment you take responsibility, you take back your power. This doesn't just apply to relationships. The victim mentality shows up everywhere. In your career, your finances, even your health. You're broke because the economy sucks. No, you're broke because you haven't taken the time to learn how money works. You're out of shape because you're too busy. No, you're out of shape because you're not prioritizing your health. Victimhood is a lie you tell yourself to avoid facing the truth. And let's talk about modern dating culture for a moment. How many men blame women for their own shortcomings? Women only want guys with money. Women don't appreciate good men anymore. These are excuses. Are there shallow women out there? Of course, but blaming women for your lack of success is just another form of victimhood. Instead of complaining about what women want, focus on becoming the kind of man who doesn't have to chase, because women will naturally be drawn to him. Victimhood is also the enemy of leadership. No one wants to follow a man who plays the victim. Your co-workers won't respect you, your friends won't look up to you, and your partner won't admire you. Leadership starts with ownership. Own your mistakes, your failures, and your shortcomings. When you do that, you not only gain respect, you gain the ability to change your circumstances. Every time you catch yourself saying, "It's not my fault," stop and reframe it. Ask yourself, what part of this is within my control? Focus on what you can do, not what's been done to you. This simple shift in mindset will transform the way you approach every problem in your life. The victim mentality is seductive because it lets you off the hook. It allows you to avoid responsibility and wallow in self-pity. But here's the thing, nobody respects a victim. Women don't respect victims. Employers don't respect victims. And deep down, you don't respect yourself when you're playing that role. So, make a decision right now. No more victimhood. Take ownership of your life, your choices, and your outcomes. Because when you do, you stop being a victim and start becoming a man. Number 3. Cut out laziness. Laziness is a silent killer of men. It creeps into your life disguised as comfort and convenience, but make no mistake, it's destroying your future. Look around. How many hours have you wasted this week on things that don't matter? Netflix binges, endless social media scrolling, sleeping in late. All these things feel good in the moment, but they're robbing you of something far more valuable, your potential. Let's be clear about one thing. Laziness is not about lacking energy, it's about lacking purpose. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest leaders, faced every imaginable obstacle, wars, betrayals, sickness, you name it. Yet he never let laziness win. Do you know what he wrote in his personal journal? When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, "I have work to do as a human being." He didn't hit the snooze button. He didn't make excuses. He understood that every day is a gift, and wasting it is an insult to the life you've been given. Now let's bring this into your world. You say you're too tired to go to the gym, too busy to start that side hustle, or too overwhelmed to improve your relationship. Let me tell you something. That's not exhaustion talking. It's laziness. When was the last time you woke up with a mission, a goal that made you so excited that you couldn't wait to start the day? If you don't have that, it's no wonder you feel tired all the time. Purpose is the antidote to laziness, and if you don't have one, you need to find it. Let's talk about relationships, because laziness is a relationship killer. Maybe you've been dating for years, and things feel stale. You used to go out on dates, plan surprises, and make her feel special. Now you're sitting on the couch every night, scrolling your phone while she wonders if you even care anymore. Laziness doesn't just ruin relationships, it destroys respect. And without respect, love doesn't stand a chance. Here's an actionable challenge for you. Take one area of your life where you've been lazy, whether it's your fitness, your finances, or your relationship, and commit to improving it starting today. If it's your health, hit the gym tonight, even if it's just for 20 minutes. If it's your relationship, plan something for her this week. Something thoughtful that shows you're still putting in the effort. Small actions compound into massive changes, but only if you start. And let's not forget your career. Laziness in your professional life is a slow death. Maybe you're coasting through your job, doing the bare minimum to get by. You're not learning new skills, not networking, not looking for opportunities to grow. Meanwhile, Another guy with less talent but more drive is outworking you, and he's the one getting the promotions, the raises, and the respect. Laziness doesn't just cost you money, it costs you time. Time you'll never get back. Let's make this practical. Set an alarm for 1 hour earlier than usual tomorrow. Use that time to focus on something meaningful, whether it's working out, reading a book, or tackling a project you've been avoiding. Do this for a week and watch how much more productive and energized you feel. Discipline creates energy, not the other way around. Here's another truth about laziness. It's addictive. The more you give into it, the harder it becomes to break free. But the reverse is also true. Action is addictive too. The more you push yourself, the more momentum you build, and the easier it becomes to keep going. So, stop waiting for motivation. It's not coming. Start taking action even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Number 4, eliminate the fear of judgment. You want to start a business, but you're afraid people will laugh at you if it fails. You want to hit the gym, but you're worried about how you'll look next to the guy benching 300 pounds. You want to speak your mind in a relationship, but you're scared she might not agree. Let me tell you something. The people you're so worried about impressing don't care nearly as much as you think they do. Most of them are too busy worrying about their own lives to even notice yours. Fear of judgment is rooted in insecurity. It's the belief that your worth is determined by other people's opinions. But here's the truth. Their opinions don't pay your bills. Their opinions don't improve your health. Their opinions don't make your life better in any way. So why are you giving them so much power? Let's apply this to relationships. Maybe you're afraid to set boundaries with your partner because you don't want to come across as controlling or harsh. So instead of speaking up when something bothers you, you stay silent. Over time, resentment builds and the relationship suffers. Here's the irony. By trying to avoid judgment, you end up sabotaging the very thing you're trying to protect. Imagine you're in a meeting at work and you have an idea that could really improve the project, but you don't share it because you're afraid your co-workers might think it's dumb. Meanwhile, someone else shares a similar idea and everyone praises them for it. That could have been you, but you let the fear of judgment keep you silent. How many opportunities are you missing because you're too scared to speak up? Fear of judgment also keeps men from improving themselves. You want to hit the gym, but you're self-conscious about being out of shape. Here's the reality. Nobody at the gym is judging you. They're too focused on their own workouts to care about yours. And the few people who do notice you, they're probably admiring the fact that you're showing up and putting in the work. Here's a challenge. For the next 30 days, do one thing every day that scares you. It doesn't have to be big, just something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Strike up a conversation with a stranger. Share an idea in a meeting. Post something vulnerable on social media. Each time you do this, you'll realize that the fear of judgment is almost always worse than the reality. Let's talk about the ultimate cost of fearing judgment: regret. Imagine you're 80 years old looking back on your life. Do you think you'll care about the opinions of people who barely even remember you? Or do you think you'll regret the opportunities you missed because you were too scared to take them? The choice is yours. Whenever you catch yourself worrying about what people think, ask yourself this question: will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, then it doesn't matter now. Focus on what's important, your goals, your growth, your legacy, and let the opinions of others fade into the background where they belong. Fear of judgment is a prison, but the key to freedom is in your hands. Use it, speak up, take risks, be bold, because the only person who truly needs to believe in you is you. Number 5, stop chasing comfort. Comfort is the greatest enemy of greatness. It feels good, it feels safe, and it feels easy, but it's a trap. The more you chase comfort, the further you drift from becoming the man you're meant to be. Look around. Everything in modern life is designed to keep you comfortable. Fast food delivers instant gratification. Streaming services keep you entertained for hours. Apps and gadgets make it easier than ever to avoid hard work. But here's the harsh truth. The more comfortable you are, the weaker you become. Think about the men you admire most. Are they men who chased comfort, or men who embraced discomfort and conquered it? Comfort is why you stay in a job you hate, a relationship that's going nowhere, or a body that's out of shape. It's why you hit snooze instead of hitting the gym. It's why you settle for mediocrity instead of striving for excellence. Comfort kills ambition, and if you let it, it will kill your dreams. Have you ever avoided a tough conversation with your partner because it was easier to stay silent? Maybe she's been disrespecting you, but you don't want to rock the boat. Maybe you feel the spark fading, but you're too scared to address it. Comfort tells you to avoid conflict, to keep things easy, but the price of that comfort is your relationship. Over time, the resentment builds, the respect erodes, and the connection dies. Chasing comfort in the short term creates pain in the long term. Here's an actionable challenge. Every time you're faced with a choice between comfort and growth, choose growth. If it's easier to skip the workout, force yourself to do it. If it's easier to avoid a hard conversation, lean into it. If it's easier to stay in a bad situation, make the bold move to change it. Growth only happens when you step outside your comfort zone. Let's talk about your career. Are you coasting in a job you hate because it's comfortable? You know you're capable of more, but the thought of starting over, learning new skills, or taking a pay cut terrifies you. So you stay put, year after year, settling for less than you deserve. Comfort tells you that it's safer to stick with what you know, but here's the truth. The longer you stay in your comfort zone, the harder it becomes to leave. The world is full of men who chose comfort over courage, and they're all filled with regret. Here's another truth about comfort. It doesn't last. The comfort you're chasing today will become the pain you feel tomorrow. Skip enough workouts, and you'll wake up one day overweight, out of shape, and ashamed of what you see in the mirror. Avoid enough risks, and you'll find yourself stuck in a life you hate, wondering where it all went wrong. Comfort feels good now, but it's a debt you'll have to pay later, with interest. Here's a simple exercise to break free from comfort. Do one uncomfortable thing every day. It doesn't have to be huge, just something that pushes you out of your routine. Take a cold shower, wake up an hour earlier, have a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Every time you do this, you'll prove to yourself that you're stronger than your comfort zone, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes to embrace discomfort. Comfort isn't just a physical trap, it's a mental one. When you chase comfort, you're telling yourself that you're not capable of handling challenges. But the truth is, you're far more capable than you think. Every time you push through discomfort, you grow stronger, more resilient, and more confident. The men who win in life are the ones who embrace discomfort, who run toward challenges instead of away from them. Number 6. Quit overindulging in pleasure. Pleasure is the drug of the weak. It's everywhere. Porn, video games, junk food, social media, and it's all designed to keep you hooked. Pleasure feels good in the moment, but it's robbing you of your strength, your focus, and your discipline. Every time you choose pleasure over purpose, you're trading long-term success for short-term gratification. Let's get real about one of the biggest traps men fall into: porn. It's easy, it's accessible, and it's addictive. But here's the truth. Every time you watch it, you're training your brain to settle for fantasy instead of reality. You're robbing yourself of the motivation to improve, to pursue real relationships, and to build genuine connections. Porn isn't harmless, it's poison. It drains your energy, weakens your discipline, and keeps you stuck in a cycle of instant gratification. The same goes for video games. How many hours have you wasted leveling up a fictional character while your own life remains stagnant? Games are designed to give you a false sense of achievement, but in reality, you're achieving nothing. Imagine if you put that same time and energy into building your career, improving your body, or pursuing your goals. The real world is the ultimate game, and the stakes are far higher. Stop wasting your potential on digital distractions. Let's talk about junk food. It's another form of pleasure that feels good in the moment, but leaves you weaker in the long run. Every time you choose fast food over a healthy meal, you're choosing convenience over self-respect. Your body is a reflection of your discipline, and if you can't control what you eat, how can you expect to control anything else in your life? Start making better choices, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Social media is another major culprit. You scroll through Instagram, comparing yourself to other men who seem to have it all: better bodies, better cars, better lives. But what you don't realize is that you're consuming a highlight reel, not reality. Social media is designed to make you feel inadequate so that you keep coming back for more. But here's the truth. The only competition that matters is the one between you and the man in the mirror. Delete the apps if you have to, and focus on building your own life instead of envying someone else's. Every time you're tempted to indulge in one of these pleasures, ask yourself one question: is this making me stronger or weaker? If the answer is weaker, walk away. Replace that indulgence with something that builds you up instead of tearing you down. If you're tempted to watch porn, go for a run instead. If you're craving junk food, cook a healthy meal. If you're scrolling social media, pick up a book. Every time you choose purpose over pleasure, you're training yourself to become stronger, more disciplined, and more focused. Pleasure isn't the problem, it's overindulgence that destroys you. The Stoics didn't avoid pleasure entirely, but they understood the importance of moderation. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." When you learn to control your desires instead of letting them control you, you become unstoppable. Here's a final challenge. Go 30 days without your biggest indulgence. Whether it's porn, junk food, video games, or social media, cut it out completely. Use that time to focus on your goals, your growth, and your future. By the end of those 30 days, you'll feel stronger, sharper, and more confident than ever before. Overindulgence is the enemy of discipline, and discipline is the foundation of success. Make the choice today to control your pleasures instead of letting them control you, because the man who masters himself is the man who masters the world. Number 7. Let go of unnecessary attachments. Attachments are the chains you willingly place around your own ankles. They can be people, possessions, or even outdated beliefs. And while they may feel comforting at first, over time, they become the very things that weigh you down and hold you back from reaching your potential. Let me tell you something. Not everything or everyone in your life is meant to stay. And that's okay. Growth requires pruning. Start with the people in your life. Look around you. Are the people you spend the most time with helping you grow, or are they holding you back? Maybe you've got a friend who's always dragging you to the bar, wasting your time and energy on meaningless nights out. Maybe you're holding on to a relationship that's more toxic than it is fulfilling because you're afraid of being alone. Here's the truth. The wrong people will keep you from becoming the right man, and the longer you hold on to them, the further away you'll drift from the life you deserve. Now let's talk about possessions. How much of your energy is tied up in material things that don't actually make you happy? You're working overtime to pay for a car you don't need, a house that's too big, or gadgets that collect dust after the first week. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoics, said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say." Imagine how freeing it would be to stop chasing things that don't matter, to let go of the need to impress people who aren't even paying attention. Take inventory of your life. Make 3 lists, one for people, one for possessions, and one for habits or beliefs. For each item, ask yourself, is this helping me grow, or is it holding me back? Be brutally honest. If it's not serving you, let it go. That might mean cutting off a friend who only calls when they need something, selling that expensive car that's draining your finances, or letting go of the belief that you're not good enough. Letting go isn't easy, but it's necessary. Attachments aren't just physical or emotional, they can also be mental. Maybe you're holding onto a grudge that's eating away at you, or regret over something you can't change. Let me tell you something. Grudges and regrets are like carrying a backpack full of bricks. Every step you take is harder because of the weight you're carrying. The Stoics knew this, which is why they focused on what they could control and let go of the rest. You can't change the past, but you can control how you move forward. Write down one thing you're holding on to that's causing you pain, whether it's a grudge, a regret, or a toxic relationship. Then, write down one action you can take today to start letting it go. Maybe it's forgiving someone, even if they don't deserve it. Maybe it's apologizing, even if it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's simply deciding to stop replaying that mistake in your head. Whatever it is, take that action today. The sooner you let go of the weight, the lighter and freer you'll feel. Letting go doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong enough to move on. And when you free yourself from unnecessary attachments, you make room for the things and people that truly matter. Number 8. End overthinking. Overthinking is the thief of action. It convinces you that you're being smart and cautious when, in reality, you're just stalling. How many opportunities have you missed because you were too busy analyzing every possible outcome? How many times have you talked yourself out of something because you couldn't stop imagining what could go wrong? Overthinking doesn't protect you, it paralyzes you. Let's bring this into your relationships. Maybe you've been overthinking whether to approach that woman you've been interested in. You're rehearsing lines in your head, wondering if she'll reject you, worrying about what other people will think. Meanwhile, another guy with half your intelligence and zero overthinking walks up to her, strikes up a conversation, and gets her number. Overthinking cost you that opportunity, not her, not fate, not bad luck. It was all you. The same goes for your career. Maybe you've been overthinking whether to apply for a job, start a business, or pitch an idea. You're thinking about every way it could fail, every reason it might not work, every potential downside. Meanwhile, someone else is taking action, learning from their mistakes, and making progress while you're stuck in your own head. Overthinking is like running on a treadmill. It feels like you're doing something, but you're not going anywhere. The next time you catch yourself overthinking, set a timer for 5 minutes. During that time, write down every fear, doubt, or concern you have about the situation. When the timer goes off, make a decision. Commit to taking one small action, no matter how imperfect it feels. The act of doing will break the cycle of overthinking and start building momentum. Overthinking also ruins your peace of mind. You're lying in bed at night, replaying a conversation in your head, wondering if you said the wrong thing, or you're imagining worst-case scenarios that may never even happen. This mental noise isn't helping you, it's exhausting you. The Stoics had a solution for this. Focus on what is real, not what is imagined. Ask yourself, is this happening right now, or am I creating it in my mind? If it's not happening right now, let it go. Let's talk about a powerful exercise to stop overthinking. The 2-minute rule. If a decision or action takes less than 2 minutes, just do it. Don't overanalyze. Don't weigh the pros and cons. Just take the action. This simple rule trains your brain to prioritize doing overthinking, and it works wonders for breaking the habit of analysis paralysis. Overthinking is also rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of making the wrong choice. But here's the thing, failure isn't the enemy. Inaction is. Every time you fail, you learn something. Every time you take a risk, you grow stronger. But when you overthink, you rob yourself of those opportunities. Stop fearing failure and start embracing action. The Stoics believed in living in the present moment. They knew that overthinking drags you out of the now and traps you in a world of imagined problems. So here's a final tip. Whenever you feel yourself spiraling into overthinking, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what's the next step I can take right now? Then take it. Action kills overthinking every time. Number 9. Stop avoiding responsibility. Responsibility is what separates men from boys. It's the foundation of respect, trust, and success. Yet so many men today avoid it like the plague. They blame others for their problems, make excuses for their failures, and refuse to take ownership of their lives. Let me tell you something. Avoiding responsibility doesn't protect you, it weakens you. The man who avoids responsibility is the man who avoids growth. Take a hard look at your life. Are you avoiding responsibility in your relationships? Maybe you're blaming your partner for the problems in your relationship instead of owning up to your part. Maybe you're refusing to have tough conversations because it's easier to avoid conflict. Here's the truth. Responsibility isn't just about taking the blame, it's about taking action. It's about stepping up and doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable. The same goes for your career. Are you the guy who shows up late, misses deadlines, and then blames your boss for being too demanding? Or are you the guy who takes ownership, goes above and beyond, and earns the respect of everyone around him? Responsibility isn't a burden, it's a privilege. It's the opportunity to prove your worth, to build trust, and to lead by example. For the next week, every time something goes wrong, ask yourself, what's my part in this? Even if it's only 1% your fault, own that 1%. Then ask, what can I do to fix it? Taking responsibility doesn't mean you're to blame for everything. It means you're willing to take control of what you can. Avoiding responsibility also affects your self-respect. Deep down, you know when you're making excuses, you know when you're dodging accountability. And every time you do it, you chip away at your own confidence. Responsibility builds respect, not just from others, but from yourself. Identify one area of your life where you've been avoiding responsibility. Maybe it's your health, your finances, or your relationships. Write down one specific action you can take today to start taking ownership. Then do it. Responsibility is a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The man who avoids responsibility leaves behind nothing but excuses. But the man who takes responsibility leaves behind a legacy of strength, respect, and impact. Make the choice today to be that man. Number 10. Quit wasting time. Time is your most valuable resource, yet most men treat it like it's infinite. Here's the brutal truth. Every second you spend scrolling through social media, every hour you waste watching mindless TV, every day you let slip by without working toward your goals, that's time you'll never get back. And here's the kicker. Someone else is using that same time to get ahead of you. They're building their body, their wealth, their skills, while you're sitting there doing nothing. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine you have $86,400 in your bank account every single day. But at the end of the day, whatever you don't spend disappears. Would you waste it on meaningless things, or would you invest it wisely? Your time works the same way. You get 86 and 400 seconds every day, and once they're gone forever. So why are you wasting them? Wasting time is a silent killer of dreams. Let's talk about your career. How many hours a week are you spending on tasks that don't matter, meetings that could have been emails, or gossiping with co-workers? Instead of complaining about being stuck, use that time to learn a new skill, network with people who inspire you, or build something of your own. Every minute you waste is a minute you could have used to change your future. The same goes for relationships. Are you wasting time chasing someone who clearly doesn't value you? Are you stuck in a relationship that's going nowhere because you're too afraid to leave? Time spent with the wrong person isn't just wasted, it's stolen from the right person. Respect your time enough to walk away from anything or anyone that isn't helping you grow. Here's an actionable challenge. Track how you spend your time for 1 week. Write down everything, every hour you spend working, relaxing, eating, exercising, or scrolling your phone. At the end of the week, look at your list and ask yourself, is this how I want to spend my life? Be honest. Then make the necessary changes. Cut out the distractions, the time wasters, the things that don't align with your goals. Wasting time isn't just about what you do, it's about what you don't do. How many opportunities have you let pass because you were too busy procrastinating? How many dreams have you shelved because you didn't have time? Here's the truth. You'll never find time. You have to make it. Stop waiting for the perfect moment and start using the time you already have. Start each day by identifying your top 3 priorities. These are the things that will move the needle in your life. Focus on those first, before anything else. Do this consistently, and you'll be amazed at how much more you accomplish. The Stoics had a saying, "You could leave life right now." It's a reminder that your time isn't guaranteed. Every day you waste is a day closer to the end of your life. Use your time wisely, because once it's gone, there's no getting it back. Number 11. Eliminate envy. Envy is poison. It corrodes your mind, your relationships, and your happiness. It's the feeling that someone else's success takes away from your own, and it's one of the most destructive habits a man can have. Here's the truth. The only person you should ever compare yourself to is the man you were yesterday. Comparing yourself to others is a losing game, because there will always be someone who has more money, more success, more status. But none of that matters. What matters is your progress. Let's talk about social media, the breeding ground for envy. You see someone posting pictures of their luxurious vacations, their perfect relationships, their seemingly flawless lives, and you start to feel inadequate. But what you don't see is the reality behind those photos. You don't see the debt, the fights, the insecurities. Social media is a highlight reel, not real life. Stop comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Envy isn't just harmful, it's distracting. When you're focused on someone else's success, you're not focusing on your own. Imagine how much further you could go if you redirected all that energy toward improving yourself. Instead of envying the guy with the six-pack, hit the gym. Instead of resenting the guy with the promotion, work on your skills. Envy is a waste of time and energy that could be spent on growth. Every time you feel envious of someone, write down 3 things you admire about them. Then, write down 1 action you can take to cultivate those qualities in yourself. Turn envy into inspiration. Let it push you to become better, not bitter. Envy also ruins relationships. It creates resentment, jealousy, and insecurity. Maybe you're envious of your partner's success, so you start undermining her achievements instead of celebrating them. Maybe you're jealous of a friend's accomplishments, so you distance yourself instead of learning from them. Envy isolates you, but gratitude connects you. Focus on what you have, not what you lack. The Stoics taught us to focus on what we can control. You can't control other people's success, but you can control your response to it. When you see someone thriving, don't let envy take over. Instead, celebrate their success. Use it as proof that greatness is possible, and then get to work on your own goals. Number 12. Stop settling for less. Settling is the ultimate betrayal of yourself. It's the quiet acceptance of mediocrity, the decision to stay comfortable instead of striving for more. And it's the fastest way to kill your potential. Here's the truth. You deserve more, but only if you're willing to demand it. Let's start with your relationships. Are you settling for someone who doesn't respect you, support you, or challenge you to grow? Maybe you're staying because it's better than being alone. But let me tell you something. Being alone is better than being with the wrong person. The wrong relationship will drain your energy, dim your light, and keep you stuck. Don't settle for good enough. Demand extraordinary, and don't stop until you find it. The same goes for your career. Are you in a job that pays the bills but leaves you unfulfilled? Are you settling for a paycheck instead of pursuing your passion? Life is too short to spend 40 hours a week doing something you hate. If you're not excited about what you're doing, it's time to make a change. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's hard. But the alternative is spending the next 10, 20, 30 years wondering what could have been. Write down one area of your life where you're settling. Be honest. Then, write down one action you can take to raise your standards. If it's your relationship, have the tough conversation or walk away. If it's your job, start applying for new opportunities or building your side hustle. If it's your health, commit to a fitness plan. Stop settling and start striving. Settling also applies to how you see yourself. Are you accepting a version of yourself that's less than what you're capable of? Are you making excuses for why you're not in shape, why you're not disciplined, why you're not where you want to be? Stop accepting less from yourself. Set higher standards, and then meet them. Create a vision for your ideal life. Write it down in detail, what you want to achieve, who you want to become, what you want your days to look like. Then, ask yourself, is the life I'm living now aligned with this vision? If the answer is no, start making changes. Every small step you take brings you closer to the life you deserve. The Stoics believed in living with purpose and intention. They didn't settle for less, and neither should you. The only limits you have are the ones you accept, so stop settling, demand more, and then go out and earn it. 2025 is your year, if you make it yours. Drop these habits and you'll not only change your life, but you'll inspire the people around you. Comment below, I refuse to settle in 2025. Let's make it official. If this video hit home, show your support. Subscribe to this channel so YouTube recommends this content to more men like you. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Together, we're building a movement of strong, disciplined men who refuse to settle for anything less than greatness.